I think one of the most commonly asked questions I've had over the last few years is, which reel should I use for my scope rods? When scope was first conceived, it was all about the retractable rod concept, and along with that came a comprehensive range of luggage and accessories. But there was one missing link, and that was always the reel. Developing a fishing reel is no easy task. There's only a handful of very good manufacturers across the world that are capable of producing the quality that I was after.
Scope's about thinking outside the box, and that's why we wanted to look away from carp fishing. We've teamed up with an amazing supplier, one that's got nothing to do with carp fishing whatsoever, and they make reels for GT fishing.
If you don't know anything about the GT, it's one of the most ferocious fish in the ocean. When you hook one, they can go on incredible big runs of 100, maybe 150 metres on their first go. So I knew, working with a company that specialised in that particular genre of angling, we were immediately on the right track.
We had to make a few modifications to the tooling and things like that to make it suitable for carp fishing. They didn't have an anti-reverse, they didn't have a line clip on the spools, and other bits and pieces that we've developed and worked on and put together, and that's where the Scope GT reel was born. The mechanics within the reel, the clutch, the gears, everything is far, far superior.
As a scope angler, what am I, or what are you looking for in a reel? Well, for me, just like the rest of the scope range, it's about being compact. You know, scope was never about casting long distance. It was about being mobile, traveling, getting into nooks and crannies, going on adventures. So I wanted compact reels to go with the rods. We decided to develop two models, one specifically for the sawn-off version, the 6-foot rods, and one larger reel for the 9 and 10-foot version. That's the GT 4000 and the GT 6000. As well as getting the appropriate sizes of reels, the one fundamental thing I needed within my angling was practicality and reliability. I'll be honest, I don't look after my gear too well. When you're on missions, going through dense undergrowth, out on big lakes, up and down the river, I need gear that can last. So I needed a reel that could really be beaten about a bit. And that's exactly where I've put my effort and energies, into a reel that's robust, reliable, and just won't let you down.
So in terms of features, the Scope GT reels are absolutely packed full of them. The reel's made up of an aluminium body and rotor, which makes it super light and super durable. It's got a special gear drive mechanism for ultralight handle rotation and super smooth feeling. They feature a dual propulsion anti-line twist roller. Both reels have 9 stainless steel ball bearings plus an additional roller bearing.
On top of that, it's all about a decent clutch or drag system. At the end of the day, yes, we're not fishing for GT or monster sea fish, but we are fishing for big, powerful carp. So it's really fundamental that that drag and gear system inside that reel won't let you down when you hook a really special fish.
Both reels feature a sealed drag system with a carbon drag washer, and what that is a super smooth, quick lock drag.
Because the scope range is made up of 6, 9 and 10-foot rods, there was no need for a really big bulky reel that would unbalance the rod, so we needed something nice and compact. But conversely, even though I mentioned scope is never about casting long ways, there are many instances in my own angling when I'm still fishing long distances out, sometimes 2, maybe 3, even 400 metres with the use of a boat. And that was very important to me, that we had a spool big enough to accommodate that sort of amount of line, whether that be braid, mono or fluorocarbon.
So even though the reels are not deemed as big pit reels, if you like, they can hold a serious amount of line. For example, take your standard 0.35mm, which is usually around 15-pound breaking strain. The large one of the two will take 430 metres, whereas the smaller one will take 200. So for the size of the reel, that's a hell of a lot of line.
Cosmetically developing the scope reels was never going to be an easy task. At the end of the day, they're there to perform a function, cast out, retrieve your fish, etc. But I wanted to add some attention to detail, just like we have done with the rest of the scope range. Hence why we opted to use the honeycomb effect around the spool, the ability to interchange between 2 different handle knobs, a very modern and futuristic EVA knob, and a more traditional wooden handle knob, along with some really nice carbon trim and detail, finishing the whole thing off with a matte finish with very understated branding and decals. So after more than 2 years of hard work in not only the development but also the testing process, I can sit here very, very happy that when someone asks me again, which reel should I use for my scopes, I can recommend the GTs.